Today I want to talk about Viture's new series of glasses. So right in here I have the Viture Pro XR, but Viture has released 4 new models of glasses. So they have the Viture Luma, Viture Luma Pro, Viture Luma Ultra, and one that is called the Beast. I feel like there's a bit too many options, which can be a good thing, but I just feel like there's just a bit too much because it's kind of quite confusing. I'm very in tune with AR glasses, with the market of AR glasses, and I'm looking at this and I'm still having a hard time figuring out which is which. But on the positive note, maybe there will be something for just about everybody. So first of all, this is not a review. If you're looking for a review of the glasses, this is not it. So feel free to click away if that's what you were looking for specifically. However, from someone who has the Xreal One Pro and a bunch of other AR glasses, AR and XR glasses, if you want to hear my opinion on what I think about these glasses, feel free to keep watching. If you are somebody that is subscribed to my channel that's used to seeing me, then feel free to keep watching because I have some things to say and I think that it might be interesting to some of you. So the first version they have is the Viture Luma. I have zero interest in that. There is a Viture Luma Pro, which I also have zero interest in. And then they have the Luma Ultra and the Beast. The Ultra and the Beast is what is the most similar to what we have in the Xreal. So I have a thing now where if any glasses comes out and it doesn't have built-in 3D, I just have no interest in it. I would only do a review of it if it's something that you guys would like to see. At this point, I feel like 50 degrees field of view is the very minimum a glass company can give us, and they all need to give us 3D. I just can't watch anything in 0D anymore. Not when you have companies like Xreal that's been doing it since November, because the Xreal One actually came out, because I got mine Xreal One. I've had mine since November, before Thanksgiving, and I believe it officially came out in November or December, something like that. And we are, past the midway point of this year. I think all these other companies can and should now do 3D natively, not software based, natively. And I'll give you a good reason why. All right, so the Luma Pro is where things start to get interesting, right? So the Luma Pro has 52 degrees field of view, which is way better than what we have here, which is 46. And it's slightly bigger than what we have on the Xreal One, not the One Pro. So the Xreal One has a 50 degrees field of view. The Luma Pro has 52 degree field of view. On top of that, the Luma Pro also has 1200p display, which is also slightly better than these glasses or the Xreal One. And then it has a front camera, just like we have a camera. Well, it's not built into the Xreal One, but just like how you can have camera on this one, well, on the Luma Pro Vitures, it's actually built in, so it's not a separate accessory that you have to buy, unlike the Xreal One. Now, the Luma Pro does not have a built-in 3D, but it does have this camera, and along with the Viture's Spacewalker software, it will give 3D, and it should be able to have 6D eventually, according to their specs online. So they say to be enabled after launch. Who knows when that will be? It took us so long to get 2D to 3D conversion on this. Like, it took us a long time. So who knows when that 6D or 3D will be enabled once the glasses comes out. But once again, it does not have a built-in 3D, which, once again, I will tell you why having a built-in 3D is important. Now you get to the Luma Ultra and the Luma Beast. I mean, not the Luma Beast, but the Viture Beast. These are the two glasses that I am most interested in. I'm gonna start with the Luma Beast because it's the second to the best, I think. Well, based on the price. The Luma Beast has 58. Okay, this is confusing because the Luma Beast has a bigger field of view, but it's cheaper. Okay, so the Luma, let's start with the Luma Ultra. The Luma Ultra is $599. It has 52 degrees field of view. It has 1200p. It has a front camera, it has built-in camera on the front, as well as two side cameras. Those two side cameras are used for 6DoF and hand gesture tracking. So you know how the Xreal has the Xreal Ultra, which came out, I believe, last year or the year before. The Luma Ultra looks very similar to it. And now you have something that is going to be very, very capable. But unfortunately, the Luma Ultra still does not have a built-in 3DoF. It doesn't have a native 3DoF. The 3DoF is dependent on the software, which is Spacewalker, either on mobile or Spacewalker on PC. This is kind of disappointing because I would expect something at this price point, $599, that's $600, to have native 3DoF. If I'm wrong, Viture, please correct me. I'm just reading based on your specs online. So now you have the Viture Beast. This, if I had to pick any of them, this would be the one I pick. Not just because it has 58 degrees field of view, which is slightly bigger than the Xreal's. I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems like everything that Xreal did, Viture's just slightly one-up them. Like 57 degrees field of view, Viture's is 58 degrees field of view. The Xreal One has 50 degrees field of view. The Viture has 52 degrees field of view. It's nice. I like it. I like the competition. It's good. So here's the interesting part, right? The Viture Beast is $549. It's cheaper than the Luma Pro, and it has a native 3DoF. That is the key. It has a native 3DoF, just like the Xreal glasses. A native 3DoF just takes it to a whole nother level. But unfortunately, it also does not have 6DoF, which is interesting because I feel like they can make, well, okay, according to the website, they're gonna make 6DoF and enable their software update. You know, once it comes out, they're gonna enable 6DoF, but it doesn't have that 2 extra cameras on the side like the Luma Ultra does. Is it Luma Ultra? Yes, like the Luma Ultra does. Whew. The first time I saw this on the website, I immediately was like scratching my head like, okay, so the built-in 3DoF, the native 3DoF says vision pair 3DoF. Vision using the camera pair 3DoF. If it needs the camera to be stable, how does this affect the 3DoF when you are in a dark environment? Does that mean you're gonna have screen drifts? Does that mean the 3DoF is not gonna work well when you are in the dark? Because as of right now with the Xreal One, it does not matter if you're in the dark, complete darkness or not. The 3DoF would work. It does not matter if you're upside down on the bed, 3DoF just simply works. So this vision paired 3DoF is got me thinking like, man, this is something I'm gonna have to try and see for myself. I mean, even Viture's website literally says you have to try it to believe it. And essentially, I'm gonna have to try it to really believe it, because I'm curious to see how they take on this built-in 3DOF, because a lot of companies, they do 3DOF via the software, and what ends up happening is it's not as stable, and there is a little bit of latency when you're doing certain things like video games, because it has to send the data, and then it has to send the data to the software, and then send it back to the glasses, and then send it back. So there's a lot of transfer of information that they end up slowing down, especially when you're doing video games or a lot of video editing. So with native 3DOF, you kind of eliminate some of those processes, which will make it work a bit better. So while editing this video, I went on the Viture's website to verify a few more specs, but I noticed that they are heavily promoting Spacewalker being able to run that 3DOF for glasses that doesn't have native 3DOF. But it also brings me back to the point of, when you have something like a Nintendo Switch, a Steam Deck, or any of those mobile devices, like maybe a DJI controller that some of us use to fly a drone, they're not going to be able to run Spacewalker. So effectively, your $400-500 glasses that is meant to be this premium entertainment is no more different than Rainio's $250 glasses, which is also 0DOF. So Spacewalker is not a selling point for me, because most of the things that I do, like watching Netflix, ESPN, Hulu, Disney Plus, you're not going to be able to run those on Spacewalker because of DRM limitations. So once again, no 3DOF. The only thing you can effectively watch in 3DOF is YouTube video and maybe the videos that you have stored on your devices. And then with Spacewalker itself, I noticed that when you put your movie or YouTube, any of those things in full screen, it goes away from 3DOF to 0DOF. And with that, when you are using Spacewalker, if you are watching movies, I noticed that it takes you, and when you're doing the 2D to 3D conversion, it takes you away from 3DOF to 0DOF. I don't know why their app does that, but as you guys can see, we need that built-in 3DOF to bypass all these DRM limitations. That way we can watch the movies directly from our phones, directly from our PCs, instead of having to use Spacewalker. And then when you use Spacewalker, you can't run ESPN. Like the time I try to watch ESPN on Spacewalker, it just wouldn't work. So you're limited to things like YouTube. YouTube is fine, but if I want real entertainment, I'm gonna go on streaming services like Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, where I can download movies for offline and go watch it later on in 3DOF. But because we are relying on the app, we're not gonna be able to do that. So all that being able to run 3DOF on your Spacewalker is, quite frankly, useless. It's not really a great selling point. When I fly my DJI drone, when I'm outside, I connect my glasses. For the most part, every time I've ever showed a glasses connection to this, I'm only showing it. I end up removing them and plugging in my Xreal, because the Xreal has native 3DOF. When I'm using this controller, I can't download Spacewalker on this. It's not gonna work. So I'm not gonna be able to use that 3DOF, which means I'm gonna be limited to 0DOF, because this controller is not gonna run Spacewalker. So glasses like Xreal becomes my only option, because it has native 3DOF. I needed to have native 3DOF. When I'm on my computer, when I'm mobile using my computer, right, and I'm using the glasses, even though Spacewalker is pretty decent, it consumes a lot of memory and a lot of power, which means that if I'm like editing a video is already tasking on the PC. When you have to open a software to run 3DOF, now you're gonna drain your PC's battery even more. And then when you're someone like me who's editing 4K videos, now you have a software just to run 3DOF on top of your video editor and on top of your file explorer and all the other windows that you're gonna open your PC's battery is gonna just like that. And that's why I stopped using Spacewalker on my PC, because it just ran through my battery too fast. And that's what happens when a glass is dependent on its software to have 3D off. When I'm using the glasses, when I'm using Xreal One, the One or the One Pro, I do not suffer from any of those. You know why? Because I don't have to run any software. This glasses has native 3D off as well as ultra wide mode. So I don't need to have a software to run just to have that 3D off. So when I plug my glasses into the PC, I just simply start up my video editor, open my File Explorer, my Windows, my Microsoft Edge. I have all these things running, and I'm not worried about the battery dying so fast, because I'm not using Nebula or Spacewalker or any of this PC software that's needed to give me 3D off, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna be reaching out to Vitures. I'm gonna hope that they send me that Viture Beast. If not, I'm gonna see how I can get my hands on it. That way I can try it and show it to you guys, and see how it actually compares, because I was a bit skeptical when I heard that Xreal put 3D off in the glasses. I was like, how stable is it gonna be? But then it turns out to be very, very stable. Now with Vitures, I'm even more skeptical. The reason why I'm even more skeptical with Vitures is because of the Viture Pro XR came out, right? And it was using software-based 3D off. The problem is the glasses would always, the display would always drift towards the right side, and it was very, very frustrating. And for some reason, they were not able to get that fixed even via software. I tried everything. I even reached out to them, and the drifting was just driving me crazy. Now, these new glasses are gonna have something called a magnetometer, which is gonna help reduce the drift. But until I try it, I'm still gonna be skeptical on it. You know, the last thing you want to do is spend $599 or $549, and then it's still drifting. I know Viture can do it because Xreal has done it, so Viture most definitely can do it. But at the same time, I need to try it for myself. I need to be able to tell you guys what I think based on my experience. How does it compare to Xreal? You know, the Viture Beast right now sounds like a very, very good deal. It sounds like a better deal than the Xreal One Pro. Reason being is the price. The Viture Beast is $549. Xreal One Pro is $649. That's $100 more. And then it has a slightly bigger field of view, slightly better display at 1200p. On top of that, it has the camera built into the glasses. So this is not something you have to buy separately. See, with the Xreal One Pro, I don't remember, but I believe that the camera is something that you have to buy separately, and the camera is $100. Whereas the Vitures, the camera comes with it already, and it's cheaper, and it's 58 degrees field of view, and it's gonna have 3D off in the glasses. It's sounding like a much better deal than the Xreal One Pro, but this is really, really stable. Like, if Viture is not as stable, then it would not be a good deal. You know, I feel like $649 is very expensive, but just using these glasses on day to day and seeing what else is on the market, it feels like it's worth it. It absolutely feels like it's worth it. But when you see Viture come out with the same thing essentially at $100 cheaper with slightly better specs, I'm like, man, this is now sounding like it's not such a good deal, or rather it's sounding like the Viture Beast might be the better deal, but it all depends on how that 3DOF is looking, you know what I'm saying? When I try it, I would know for myself. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you guys think. Based on what you know so far and what you learned, are you going to be going with the Beast, the Ultra, the Luma Pro, or the Luma? Or are you going to be going with Xreal One or the One Pro? So far, the Xreal One and the One Pro are pretty much tried and true. You know what I'm saying? The 3DOF is extremely stable. The only time you will get a drift is when you are in a vehicle. And that's because a vehicle's metal body and magnetic stuff interferes with your 3DOF. So you might get a slight drift in pretty much every glasses. But besides that, Xreal's 3DOF is extremely stable. At least I've tried 2 different Xreal One glasses and a One Pro, so it seems to be consistent that the glasses are very, very stable. And 2 Viture glasses that I've tried, there's been drifting on both of them. So I would hope that these new glasses, especially with the magnetometer on the glasses, I would hope that is extremely stable. And yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Are you gonna be upgrading from whatever glasses that you have right now? Are you gonna be going with the Beast, which is 58 degrees field of view? Or are you gonna wait till next year because Xreal has a 70 degrees field of view glasses coming called the Xreal Aura? Anyway, guys, once again, let me know what you guys think. Which glasses do you currently have right now? Do you have one? Would you like to win the glasses from me? Now, in the past, I did say I'm going to do a giveaway of a glasses when I get to 10,000 subscribers. It's going to be one of those glasses over there. So subscribe if you want to see more. And I appreciate you guys for supporting. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.